Welcome back to the channel. This preview, as every preview, is brought to you by our friends at Match. Today we're going to look into, is David Moyes actually doing a bit of a madness with West Ham? And if he is, how can Manchester United actually overcome this? Because they've got a couple of players that are absolutely flying at the minute, and we need to think about what we're going to do about them. Now, situationally, West Ham, this is mental, man. West Ham sit in 8th with Manchester United just above them in 7th. There is a point gap between both teams, which is just nowhere near enough, is it? And West Ham were going to be looking to win this game so they can leapfrog Manchester United in the table. Ten Hag and United are going to be looking to try and keep a little bit of the positive momentum that they got from the hard-fought draw that we got at Anfield. Moyes and West Ham obviously looking to bounce back from the 5-1 thrashing, which saw them bounced out of the Carabao Cup. So it's a dangerous time for United to play West Ham. A lot of positivity will be taken if they're able to get a result against us. Now, as is standard under David Moyes, West Ham have primarily operated in what you'd probably call quite a transition-heavy style based off winning possession from a mid or low block and then getting up the pitch through quick, direct kind of passes or carries. And the likes of Kudus, the likes of Bowen, and the likes of Ben Rama are going to be the ones that are doing those carries. There's a lot of danger that comes through counter-attacks, channel running, and set plays. This season, they've typically lined up in a 4-2-3-1, which occasionally looks like a 4-3-3, occasionally looks like a 4-1-4-1, certainly out of possession, usually forcing the opposition to go wide around them and being very compact in the middle. They tend to do that by having Edson Alvarez screening in front of the defence and looking to try and pick up any pocket players that get in between the lines. He heavily limits that central access through neutralising players who could potentially break West Ham's structure. So Bruno Fernandes is going to want to get on the ball in and around that area, and can he be successful in and around that area is going to rely on how he does up against Alvarez. As the opponents get closer to the box, the shape gets narrower and narrower and a lot more compact, looking to try and deny any sort of space for players to get up ahead of steam or to get passes off, and they will exclusively resort to pure box defending, save for one of the front three players who will look to press and put a bit of pressure on the ball. The role of the fullbacks in the system is very, very important, with Paqueta drifting inside from the left-hand side and Bowen staying up the pitch for a counter-attack means that the likes of Emerson and Kufal are very often isolated or even occasionally doubled up on when defending in a transition. That means Edson Alvarez's role is probably the most important in the entire defensive structure because he takes responsibility for the entire space between the midfield and the defence, and occasionally that requires him to go and bail out or double up with a fullback in one of those wide areas. Or sometimes, occasionally, you'll see a centre-half go and plug that gap. Edson Alvarez will slot in as an auxiliary centre-half if he needs to be. You'll also see him kind of keeping in his own half as the rest of the team get forward and attack. Souček and Ward-Prowse are quite offensive players. They do have the tendencies where they want to get forward with the ball a little bit. So those guys are going to push on and try and make things happen in the opposition half. So Alvarez is quite happy just to allow them to do that while he figures out, right, what's going to happen with the ball and how's this going to fall apart for us and how can I be effective if it does. Predicted shape and lineup should be this, and for me, the danger man in this game that Manchester United have got to deal with is Mohamed Kudus. I watched the game last weekend and I thought he was an absolute live wire. He's in seriously electric form. He got a brace in that last game in the Premier League. Real versatile forward, makes him dangerous across the entire final third, and he's had a lot of joy playing from the middle, but also taking up quite, what's the word? Non-conventional kind of positions. He just kind of, especially in a David Moyes team, finding someone that's able to just kind of do what they want doesn't happen very often. But Kudus seems to be allowed the freedom to go and raid wherever he wants to. And, you know, he's a very powerful ball carrier. He can strike the ball from distance. He's got a low center of gravity. He's clean with it off both feet. He is an absolute problem, and he's definitely someone that you've got to look out for. My United starting 11, I'm going with Evans and Varane. I think it'll be Delors because I'm not sure the situation with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka in this game in particular could be absolutely massive for Manchester United to deal with the wingers. If he's available, Wan-Bissaka's in. If he's not available, well, it's Delors, and I guess that's that. Luke Shaw at left back. Midfield, I'd like to see Amrabat alongside Mainu with Bruno ahead. I've wanted this now as that two as a pair for the last 3 games at least. And I'm not changing my opinion just now. I think Scott should take up the role as impact player off the bench, which is a weird thing to do when he wore the armband last week, but that's what I want to see happen. So please give me that. I think it'll be Anthony off the right. I think it'll be Marcus off the left. And it's hopefully Højlund down the middle. Now, against Liverpool Anfield, we said Varane for the match winner for United, and I'm going with Varane again. I thought his box defending was absolutely outstanding, and it needs to be the same again. Him protecting the goal as Kudus and Bowen are coming inside will be our best bet. It just will be. He is one of the few characters and leaders that we have in the team. We need him to really stamp his authority back on Manchester United again. If the talk is correct that he wants to stay here beyond January, please show us, and we'll be right behind you. Now, as I mentioned at the top of the show, we have got something special from Parimatch UK. And how would you like the opportunity to win a £50 free bet? Then all you got to do is predict 3 scores. Just 3 scores. And it's that simple. 3 Premier League scores with free rewards for every single correct prediction that you make. And if you get all 3 correct, you'll be rewarded with a £50 free bet. And it's that simple. I'm going with, this week, I'm going with a 2-1 win for Manchester United. I'm going with a 1-1 draw in what is a huge game at Anfield, Liverpool versus Arsenal. And I'm going for a 3-1 Chelsea win against Wolves. I think Chelsea are just, they've got too much talent not to occasionally turn up and smack someone around, and Wolves could be the victim in that sense. Now, if you're interested in getting involved, if you agree with my predictions, if you disagree with my predictions, and you want to get involved yourself, click the link below. And of course, you've got to be over 18 to play. Full T's and C's do apply. Thank you, as always, to Parimatch for sponsoring this preview. So, how do we beat them? I got 2 things, really, that United have got to focus on here. Probably 3, actually. The first one is limit the set plays. We haven't talked about him yet, and maybe it's because he's a little bit like the boogeyman, but James Ward-Prowse is a bit good at set pieces, and it's not just free kicks. His delivery from corners is a fucking problem. And United have been shit at corners both directions. So you've got to limit the opportunities from set plays. That's just a blanket statement, not just free kicks, not just corners. No, just fucking stop it anywhere in our third. Just, it's not worth it. Souček has got a bit of a knack for getting his head on things, and Moyes teams are always a bit dangerous from set plays, so you got to watch out for that. We have to have a better rest defence, so we were a lot more compact against Liverpool, and it served us quite well. And I want to see Manchester United hard to break down and hard to play against, and against Liverpool, I thought we were that. Let's show that now with a little bit more adventure on the other side. So a little bit better rest defence. We can't go back to having the poor defensive structure and having to deal with the transitions. We've seen countless teams do this to United this season. West Ham have got the potential, especially in Kudus and Bowen, to be real problems. And the one thing I haven't touched on so far, but it's been lacking for weeks with Manchester United, is how about creating some fucking chances? Hey, is that too much to ask? We are seeing our striker go through games and coming off the pitch with 0 shots on goal. Not on target, on goal. No shots, no shots, no shots. Not acceptable. And I don't put that just on Højlund. Obviously, he's got to get hold of the ball and make something happen himself at times, because that's the situation that the club find themselves in. But how about some other players? Do your fucking job. Put the ball in the box for him. Watch Kudus and watch Bowen this weekend, and you'll see just how often they're putting it on a plate in the middle of the pitch. Doesn't happen at Manchester United, and it needs to start happening. So the third and final thing, be better at creating chances as a fucking team. All right? Go check out Parimatch, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.